Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL 2020 Summer Split coverage brought to you by the LJL Officially Unofficial. Gentlemen, we're on to our fourth and final game, as we have now covered all 8 games. After this one, we do it in reverse order of the different splits either way, but it's fine. You get your content, you get your VOD, it's fine. We do it all. Gentlemen, we just witnessed DFM lose to now the undefeated team of V3 Esports. They're now facing against Burning Core. Now, Burning Core are also coming off of a loss this week against the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, who were then also promptly dealt with by V3, to put it politely. Yeah, I think it was definitely tested. Where do we expect a lot of this game to be? Where do we think DFM are? And what do we expect from this game? Initialize. Oh, sorry. No. Go, Nightmare. You jumped in. Go for it.
Yeah. No, I am very firmly of the opinion it's going to be in the draft phase because the Hawks managed to deal with Burning Core ridiculously easily. You ban away once as champions. If he doesn't have a proactive jungler which has some carry teamfight potential, Burning Core look lost. And the same happens to Yuhi. If you get him off of Phelios, they're in dire straits.
Yep. If DFM or blue side, and I don't know if they are, then you ban 3 carry junglers. You first pick a Phelios for you to pawn, and you go, what have you got? Burning Core. And the answer in the last game was not a lot.
Yes. Now, if they're on red side, they will probably have to still ban that Varus, or maybe something else. There will be definitely, though, options open to them. Let's rip that band-aid off immediately, because I can't be bothered for this small talk, this pillow talk that we sometimes do. Gentlemen, who's winning this game? Initialize.
DFM.
Nightmare.
It has to be DFM. It still has to be.
3 for 3. Let's see if we can figure this out and do it again, where we get all the DFM wins right again. We've had a loss.
It's been a while.
We're a bit all over the place here. We're a bit frazzle dazzled, but we didn't agree when it was V3 versus DFM, so I'm not surprised really.
So, don't get me wrong. DFM now have the same amount of losses in the regular split they had last split.
Oh God, they did.
And obviously, that only happened within the last week 7, because V3 took them down in their last matchup. DFM have now done that in week 3. 4 weeks earlier, 4 weeks behind schedule for them, if you think it's going to be reprising their performance from spring. And DFM still looks strong, though. Don't get me wrong. They've had this against 2 strong teams. Burning Core is admittedly probably not in one of those states.
That is huge. I did not realize that, and their record, at least from in 2020 of the streak, is very much having its door knocked upon, and they will thankfully though be able to be one of the deciders if that 9-0 will be in effect coming into Super Week of Week 5, our first game from DFM and V3. So high hopes for these teams. But let's pull it back over to Burning Core. Why are we so not interested in... Well, we're not interested. Why do we not feel that Burning Core have the opportunity to take this game? Why are we unanimous? Initialize on Burning Core.
Alright, it basically relies on 1v9 over and beyond performances from Once and Rayfarki.
Sure.
And to an extent, Proud as well, his set and the like has been very good.
Sure, yeah.
Basically, because they don't really have a team fight threat in Yuhi or UJ at the minute. UJ is fine, but he's not a carry, and Yuhi has been very suspect. We've been over that before. Last game on the Ash, not a lot to be found.
I would have to agree with you, and let's really understand that. Why is there just so many problems that basically it's all about the Rayfarki want show Nightmare? Like, can DFM are going to be able to shut this down pretty comfortably, I would assume.
If they identify them as the strong point and want to nullify them, yes. But something which Sam has been a big proponent of saying is that it's easier to attack a weakness than it is to nullify a strength. Maybe Burning Core have a route in if DFM choose to attack mid and bot lane as opposed to the top half of the map. Maybe that's something which can happen. We saw in their first matchup in spring, Rayfarki on the gangplank very nearly carried a game on his own. He's going more towards the Maokai and stuff, whereas Once is kind of moving away from some of the earlier pressure junglers into stuff like Echo, Kindred, Graves. So it's a change in the roles, might change the dynamic of these 2 teams. I still think DFM have the star power between Ebby, Utapon, Seros on his game, and, well, every member of the team, really, to carry them through this.
There's a lot of opportunities there. In theory, we're leaning fully into DFM and we focus on them. They ask us to focus on them. We will do that. Focus me, focus you. Burning core, will they burn like wood, or will they rise like a phoenix and become the core of all of the LJL? Gentlemen, I think it's about time we get onto this pick and ban phase and see which sides our teams are on and what champions they'll be playing. So good luck to both the teams, and gentlemen, you know what time it is.
We know what time it is. It's game time.
It is game time, and it'll be Burning Core versus Detonation. Focus Me. Burning Core are on the blue side this time around, and that means it's Ray Farkey, Once, UJO, Yuki, and Proud as their roster.
And on the other side of the rift, it's Detonation, Focus Me, bleeding from their loss against V3. Ebby in the top side, Steel in the jungle, Seros in mid lane, and Utapon and Gang bringing up the bot lane.
See where the bands are going. We're seeing the Volley Bear and the Ziggs against DFM. I'm kind of not surprised to see the Volley in some ways. I suspect Ebby probably does play that. It feels like a champion he does, or he would go towards, rather. Having said that, though, his Wukong, which we thought would be something he would crush on, has been a little lackluster, especially in team fights. So maybe there's something there we're not quite aware of.
Maybe there is. DFM last banning the Karma, something which we probably could have seen more of throughout this day, if I'm honest. We haven't seen so much of it. I'm assuming this is going to be an Aphelios lock-in for you here right off the bat here. Hovering over the Cogmore, various other things going towards... Yes, Once's huge carry games in week 2 of that Kindred was something to be afraid of. But of course, Varus is left unbanned. That's locked in instead of the Aphelios.
Well, there is a gauntlet thrown down by Detonation. Focus Me. They say, I don't think you can carry on this. And with the way Yuhi's been performing, he needs to make this work, or it's going to be another risk against this squad if they don't force teams against them to ban it on red side.
Ezreal may be locked in for, I believe, the first time today.
I don't think I've seen, or at least
not in these 4 games. It was locked in yesterday several times. Yuumi also available. Could be the Ezreal Yuumi. We know exactly what happens with that combo. However, the problem is now, if you don't lock in the Yuumi, you can give over the Varus Yuumi, which is a really nasty combo in its own right. Double poke, have the slow from the Yuumi Q, the Prowling Projectile, into the Piercing Arrow. They're not hovering that right now. Instead, remember, DFM first picked Twisted Fate versus V3. Didn't lead to a win, but it did lead to an early snowball. See if they go for that again. And Seros played the map very well with Steel turning up topside again. They all ended up 2-0-2 for a very long time in that game, looking pretty excellent, generally speaking. It didn't work out in the mid game. There were some team fights where they were just a little, where V3 managed to get there early. We saw what the Aphelios could do as that game went on. But once decides against the Graves, goes towards the Echo, and now we've got 2 pretty big power picks for Burning Core, at least within the way they play the game. We do. The Graves would have allowed for that double poke burst combo, right? You hit the Chains of Corruption, you hit a Piercing Arrow, and then you have that huge follow-up of the collateral damage. Burning Core going completely off script, though, from that. They've locked in the Pantheon. It's not going to be locked in for DFM. Potentially a takeaway.
Potentially, we've got to see what DFM now go towards. Maybe they want to lock in a jungler. They've got things like the Nidalee and the Kindred still available, but can be a bit of a risk versus what is a lot of long-range poke and CC. They get locked down, and Nidalee is never tanky.
Never tanky, and that Renekton will be locked in. Potentially setting up for a Steel's Nidalee. He had some good games on that in week 2, I believe. Yes, it was against Axis, played that once there, and I believe he had a second game on that champion as well. I think it was 2 Nidalee games from the last week, setting up for that combo, potentially a ban from Burning Core as we're going into the second round of bans.
We are like, that Nidalee X top laner with CC combo is something DFM have been going towards. It's been with some risks taken, though, and I know we've been having some conversations off air about, should DFM be taking those risks? I know you kind of have some concerns with the way they've been playing some of their tower dives in particular.
The thing is, there's a point where it's a risk, and there's a point where you are just waiting for the enemy to make a mistake and you to capitalize on it, right? So if you look back to the Axis dive and stuff like that, look at the amount of skill shots Axis missed. That 2-0 could have very easily turned into a 1-for-1 or an 0-for-2, anything like that, and it would have taken apart their game plan. Much like the game against V3 we just saw, a lot of the ideas they had were fine, right up until they weren't. It seems like the execution is not going the way of DFM. The coin is landing towards the other team, and not a coin, but a chime removed from Gang. Bard has been banned.
Bard Ezreal is very powerful level 1, and taking that away would be a good option potentially, but Yuumi is still up.
Yuumi's left up, so DFM chose to ban away Yu-Gi-Oh's Lulu and Ray Farkey's Darius. This does leave open, even with the Elise ban away from Steel, for that dive combo on the top side, it's going to be actually Trundle locked in for DFM, not going towards that power farm in the Nidalee. Rayfaki immediately locks in the Jace. It was something which I called for earlier in the day. They're going towards it now versus DFM.
They're thinking about going for Yuumi. That would be 1, 2, 3 points of poke coming in with an Pantheon and an Echo to come in and do a little bit of extra damage.
And they're going to stop at 2. It's going to be the Galio locked in.
Yeah, and Galio does jump on top of a Pantheon Echo as they go in. You can layer that burst up with significant damage from a Varus Piercing Arrow and an Empowered Shock Blast with the Acceleration Gate.
Oh, gang, please don't submit us to Tom Kench again. What wonderful gameplay the Catfish has.
Yeah, and they're thinking about what to last pick, and they have gone towards the Tom Kench. It is pretty good against things like Pantheon and Echo, and that you can pull people out of CC. I can see that.
Allows you to reset. Again, it's another way to keep the Ezreal healthy. Looks like this is going to be the Pantheon support from Proud. We saw it from Corporal in our other set of 4 games, which we covered. Axis played that versus, I'm trying to remember who they played it in. I think it was their second game they played.
Jesters?
Something like that. It might have been, yes, it might have been versus Sengoku, I'm trying to remember. But anyway, Gang will have, yes, so Gang will have the ability to reset the team fight. He did have some nice devours within the team fights versus V3, but you are lacking certain playmaking tools. When you go for this over something like Thresh, which of course was banned, also even over something like a Nautilus.
Yeah, like of course, there is still good poke at the level 1 as we kind of been talking about. Like the Tongue Lash with the Mystic Shot. There you go. Yes, I had a moment thinking, going Arcane Shot. I was like, no,
making me question this.
I was it was Arcane Shift, Mystic Shot. I was like, no, I have got it right. I'm not confused. But
not in that way. No,
of course not. But the level 1 poke, the level 1 slow from Tongue Lash, you can do a fair amount. It's not bad pressure. It really isn't.
But it's not wave control.
But it's not
against the bot lane which they're facing up against. No. Varus is level 1E. It's just really annoying. It's good trading. It has a Comet on top of it as well. It's just really nasty. And also the other thing is, remember, Pantheon just locks someone in place for Varus to do the DPS.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. You don't have to miss the arrows if someone is frozen in place. It can be very, very useful. Okay, so we've kind of seen the comps. We know where they're at. We know what the plan is really from both teams. It's a little bit more of that global side lane focus with the TF roaming to the Renekton or roaming to the Ezreal. Which makes sense. You know, there's enough there. There's a little bit of global pressure with the Abyssal Voyage.
One of the big things to me, though, is that we had some questions about Ebby's Wukong, for instance. We've never had questions about his Renekton. It's terrifying. It was permaban versus Ebby within the playoffs after their Juggernaut match against Sengoku, because I think the 2 games he had Renekton, they won. Yeah, it might have played it the one time actually, but yes, the Renekton became kind of a staple of the LJL ban list for a while. It's just too strong to allow to win lane, get priority, even against something like a Jace, you can cause him problems, and then just be really, really nasty at diving the backline, particularly when you do have this static Varus trying to peel for himself.
And it's kind of what Burning Core trying to do is dive that backline with the Pantheon being followed up by the parallel convergence from Echo with the heroic entrance cupping down. And then you have the poke from downtown with the Jace Shock Blast and Varus Piercing Arrow. Like, you can see how that could blow up 1 or 2 people who get caught within that CC. But if that Varus can't stay safe or ends up at the point where he's just a little bit behind, and Varus with the poke build does kind of fall off a little, especially if people do pick up just a little bit of base armor, it could be difficult. There is a lot of lethality damage actually from Burning Core, generally speaking.
Well, we'll see if Rayfaki goes towards like Muraman, Black Cleaver, maybe a Blade the Ring King as well. You can go for a split bush build, particularly because Ebby as well. Ebby has gone for the press the attack on the Renekton. He's not gone towards the Conqueror. If you have a Blade of the Ring King built up and then you have the press the attack and you have an empowered W, you proc that immediately and you just crap on someone's HP bar. You just go for the short trade, you slice in, get the empowered W, you dice out, and then you just try and reset the fight off that. It's short trades, not long ones like you have with the Conqueror.
Okay, so you can see the fan vote for DFM. We're seeing the AI vote thinking it's a little bit more even.
It's on the fence.
Well, Varus is strong. We've seen once his Echo a few times. We know that's damn good. And Galio has been very strong with the way that the LJL has been playing. He just turns up to every fight when you need him, as you need him. And CC and Magic Shields are great.
We could very much see an early gank towards the bottom side here. Steel's reached level 2, has Pillar. This could be a very early gank.
There's no way out for either of these squads. Gangs in behind, they're going to get slows. There's going to be a Pillar as well. This is disaster for Burning Core. There's the exhaust as well. There is no way out. First Blood and DFM come out with a fabulous early gank.
Dude, the first kill goes over towards Steel, goes red buff into bottom gank. Reminds me of the classic Peanut ganks when he was back on SKT. He chooses not to burn the summoners. He has to use the teleport to get back into lane. At least it's not the worst case scenario. Now, also, Steel showing himself on bot side, once knows how he can invade into this jungle, potentially get some early fights against the Trundle.
He's going for the wraparound. There's the Blast Plant, going to try and steal this away. Can Steel get his own blue buff? Does secure it. That's good news. And now Steel, still level 2 though versus the level 3. He's got to be a bit careful. Press the attack is down and Seros is roaming up. And that means that DFM do escape. Cold card has a little bit of fade away there.
Okay, so Once just gets out there. Worth noting that Once had Smite there. He had the level advantage, potentially could have stolen that buff. He is still putting the pressure onto Steel. He's going to see if he can find him at the Wolf Camp.
Yeah, Steel's being pretty careful to pull the wolves away. Once would have to go pretty deep here. All right, he's going to go in for the stun, gets the stun, and he's going to try and get the Dark Harvest. At least Steel now very low, but the Smite comes in again.
He's very low.
He is very low, but the Pillar is there, and he can't quite find the kill. Now Once is in a horrible position.
Flashes for it.
And it's 1-for-1 in there. Flash burn from both of the junglers. I don't think they'll be okay with a 1-for-1 each. Just 2 kills on the Trundle, 1 kill on the Echo, and Steel are what's going at it, man.
But worth noting though, Steel had his double buffs. Once had not taken his blue buff yet. So actually on the next reset, Once will have that kill course traded with Steel, but he'll have a buff to play with it as well. I was wrong, by the way. He Once did not have Smite for that blue buff take. I don't know if he actually used it to take the Wolves there. No, he didn't actually end up using that. So he has his Smite available, has himself a blue buff to take as well. So Once taking over this early game a bit, has a Dark Harvest stack as well to boot.
He does, but on the other side, Steel comes off with the early gank, gets away with the curl back onto 1-12. He got 2 kills out of that. That's great news. So both of these junglers showing they're looking to make some plays early on.
But we know what Once can do on this Echo.
Yes,
he is such a hyper carry for this team, and he has the champion to do it. Walking into the Raptor
again.
now, he's just getting in the face of Steel, stealing away some of those Raptors, and just making himself a nuisance.
He is making himself that nuisance, and with Rayfark shoving in the Renekton early as well, there's not going to be all that much room for punish right now.
The thing for Once here though is that every time he does this, he's kind of trading the camps half and half. You know, maybe taking a couple of small ones, maybe stealing out the big Raptor there as well. It's not affecting his own camps. His camps are still up. So if Steel wants to even up this camp score, he's going to have to invade himself. And that's going to be really hard to do when you have that follow-up of so much CC from the Galio and the Pantheon, which can get out of lane and make your life very difficult.
And that's also Once using the pressure of his lanes really well. He knows that the Renekton is caught under tower. He knows that Galio had the shove in early there. Just has a little bit better wave play with the Winds of War early on. That's just when he could go in and start being that kind of obnoxious Echo who wanted to steal away camps, get that advantage early on.
That obnoxious, thinks of a word. Echo, yes. You're not going to go towards any words.
No.
It's annoying little, so-and-so.
Yes.
Yeah. Ebby has priority on the top side, but with a wave under tower, Rayfarki will hopefully pick up 1 or 2 of these, getting that phase rush, but taking a bad trade under the turret.
He does get the healing back with the empowered Cull the Meek, though, which is good news.
Oh, he's still now looking to pressure Rayfarki here on turret.
Just stop the back at super. He's not got actually a lot of mana here. He's jumped onto Steel. I'm not sure that was a good idea, buddy. You're going to get run down. Potentially, he's got the speed up from the transform and will get out. No flash burn. Will have teleport, but it leaves Ebby alone under tower and will get a play, and it will cost Rayfarki waves.
It'll cost him the cannon minion. Doesn't cost him a flash, though, because he does use that phase rush. Knowing that Trundle doesn't have the flash available to himself from the earlier trade onto Once, gets out one of the better case scenarios. Once will also take this time to take a dragon.
He does get the early Drake. It's the price that Jace has paid for him. He's put the Jace down 10 CS, it's down a turret plate, and he's had to go towards Cull.
Cool guys done with explosions.
Yeah, you knew he was there with the timeline. He was fine. But it's not the best place for that Jace, who did want to be pushing in early and had got the early push, generally speaking.
He had done, yeah. Well, just knowing that Trundle could have been on that top side, doesn't choose to push in the next wave, and does survive. So still, while he found that early gank onto Yuhi, and this bot lane of Burning Core has been a point of concern for us as casters. We've definitely raised an eyebrow or two at the positioning and team fights and the laning proficiency of this duo. Steel abuses that very early on and sets up Butte upon someone we've had no questions about so far for great things in this game.
Indeed, and of course, it did mean that Steel's path was known, and once done his best to punish with the pressure he's got. He's got a good CS lead out of it and a dragon, so that's great news for Burning Core. But it was something that DFM were willing to take, I think. And considering they've got 2 kills to 1 and a 1,000 gold lead, I don't think it's going so bad for them. But Burning Core are at least making some plays and not completely falling by the wayside.
Yeah, but DFM, you know, they're I think they're playing a different game.
Are they?
They are, because Saros, he used that clarity from Spellbook. He's very convinced he's playing ARAM right now.
Yeah, he just goes and gets that mana up, gets to have more wave shove from it, and that's great.
He doesn't want to leave mid lane. He's got a global. He doesn't need it.
He wants the wave shove before the Herald spawns in 10 seconds. Ebby goes in for a big trade. Ray Farkey turning around. Turns about even-ish.
Even, yeah.
And Ebby will try and heal up off the wave. Of course, does have that empowered Cull the Meek, as usual. And the corrupting pot gets Ray Farkey back to some HP as once.
He's fishing.
He is. Doesn't find Ebby banking in the bush, though.
So, well played there from Ebby to know that once could be there. Knows the pathing of the jungle, or at least potentially where they could be. Now once will be clearing out this wave whilst Ray Farkey backs and making sure that that wave is not frozen or anything in the top side. He's going to walk into the jungle duo of DFM though.
Yeah, and there's a TF coming in as well. He's got the ultimate. He may need to use it. There's the stun coming around, but it's not enough, and he's got very little HP bar. Gets the reset. That's good news.
Oh, it's close.
But that was Ebby just about surviving, and nice try from once, but it's not enough.
Nice try. Does burn an ultimate or two to do so there, but he goes down and is now off the map, no longer available to contest for this Herald on the top side. Fantastic punish from DFM of the Trundle, and of course that Twisted Fate as well.
And Twisted Fate gets out of vision, gets up. UJO does not. He does not get the roam because of the clarity burn for the wave shove, which means DF gets the roam early. All these little things, man.
They do add up. It's the ARAM mechanics.
This is it. This is what you train in ARAM map rotations. You could do that all the time on ARAM.
No, even I can't take this seriously.
So many lanes to pay attention to.
And this is why I'm not a pro player. I just don't understand what's happening in these ARAMs. Saros, yeah, it doesn't have the teleport available. No longer has his ultimate. Going to be looking for a reset. And I was saying, oh, once died, no way to contest that Herald. DFM didn't choose to go for it, knowing that UGO had that ultimate available and Ray Farkey was making his way back into lane. Proud doesn't have himself the Grand Starfall. Yeah, looks like Burning Core will take that Herald for free.
They will, and that is good news. They'd nice to pick up a couple of early objectives, even if DFM have been indexing into the early gold, the early kills, which is, no bad thing when you are looking to try and get this early game Renekton ahead. Look to use the TF ultimate to punish things. So that's good news that DFM are playing to the win cons for that squad.
Look, Once is in his home territory, the enemy jungle.
He is, and Trundle's down bot side. He'll be a bit irritated about that, but he's 3-1. He's actually done very well himself. He's got
been involved a lot.
He has, and he's keeping up relatively with CS despite the fact Once has been invading. So, it's doing all right, but it's just Once making sure he's still in the game.
That being said, Once did get another Dark Harvest stack. He did. Top lane and he forced out the flash from maybe potentially something he can exploit in the next couple of minutes while the summoner is still on cooldown. Every time you use that Dark Harvest, it does increase the damage by 5 on its base damage, and that can stack up throughout the game. When it becomes, an extra 50 damage because you've got 10 of them, suddenly that is a really good execute.
It really is, and it's also just, it's Once finding more from a situation than maybe he could have. He gets more than the minimum.
He didn't burn his flash as well. His ultimate's back off cooldown. That's not affected how he played the next couple of minutes. So he got a fairly large amount for that play. Of course, however, really good punish still from DFM. It stopped him from being on the map, potentially. And that means Ebby can teleport bot lane for a 4-man dive.
All right, here we go. There is the Dominus pop. There's not much of a wave, but they don't get seals here as well. That's to Devour, though. They reset the aggro. It's gone very well. And that's a flash over the wall, but Saros is there. Well juggled by DFM, even without the minion wave.
I forgot Tom Kench could do that. Just another reason to be slightly annoyed at the Catfish champion. Saros now going to stop UGO from roaming towards that bot lane himself, and he's going to get caught out by Steel.
And we've still not seen a hero's entrance. He's going to try and leave. It's a hero's ungainly exit by this way bot, and that's literally all we've seen from the Galio so far.
The Destiny Gate popped to get Saros back into mid lane. I think he was just seeing if there was another play to be made because the dragon was up and available, and a Cloud Dragon, much like in their previous game, would be nice for DFM to have that cooldown onto that Twisted Fate ult. Of course, it would be really, really nice to have that onto the Echo ult.
It definitely would. Echo ult is so key to whether Echo can do what he wants to do, namely go in. And especially when you are a jungler, you tend to have those lower levels unless you get crazy farmed. You do need that safety if you want to go in and be that diving assassin type champion.
Ebi has no TP now. Once has the run of the bot side of the map. Rayfarki just about to have his TP come off of cooldown as well, meaning Burning Core going to stack themselves 2 early dragons. And good for them. It means that there's no Cloud Soul to be that kind of lackluster soul objective. Let's see which one it's going to be. It's going to be Ocean Soul. That's a high roll.
It's a big high roll. And Echo doing pretty well. Burning Core doing well at picking up these early objectives, even if DFM are kind of making plays around the map. They're at least responding, which is better than we were seeing from the last game, where it kind of felt they were out of options pretty early on, partly from draft. And this time they are kind of indexing around their star players.
Checking in on items, because resets have come through from this second dragon. It is the Manamune for Rayfarki in the top lane, going slightly more into that 1v1 pressure, which we have seen go relatively even between the 2 top laners. Protobelt for the mid lane and Rod of Ages means that they can brawl like this and feel a little bit better about themselves.
Yeah, there's first items down for those AD carries as well, but Ebi stands in a bush and gets to be a ruthless predator hiding in wait. Turns out crocodiles are ambush predators, if you didn't know. And the man of tomorrow really wishes he didn't find prehistoric lessons being learned up in the top lane. Rift Herald will be summoned. That was picked up earlier. And we're going to see Vessel Voyage coming down. Yuhi's in trouble. He's all alone. And that's a damn lot of damage he's forced away from the tower. Ebi, though, is fighting the 1v1. Here comes the Pantheon, but Steel's here around as well. That's a lot of damage onto the Crocodile. He goes down. Now Proud needs to escape. Rayfarki also really low. And that is a dead Pantheon. Now Steel survives. Seros is here. Echo trying to get a kill. Does get one. It's 2 for 2, at least up at the top lane. Or sorry, 2 for 1 even. And DFM trying to defend the tower, but now Seros is caught up here alone. Well played by Burning Core. They're looking for more. They get the turret, they get 2 kills, and they get out.
Okay, so really good play if you're once. You get 2 kills, you force out a load of defensive summoners as well from the side of DFM for the next time you want to make a play. Really bad for Yuhi. He ends up getting nothing from bot lane, and Utapon gets a full load of waves and a lot of turret plates down in that bot side as well. It's still somewhat of a split play. At least Yuhi didn't end up dying because he died for that first blood and then died in the dive. He's had to use his teleport to get back mid, though, at least pick himself up some farms somewhere on the map. But once again, Utapon has been given the resources to carry. Let's see what DFM play around that point of power.
Yeah, apologies for the mistake there. I saw the 0-2 and when did he dive the second time? I was like, oh wait, the crazy teleport bomb.
The first tower still went down in topside with that Herald push in topside though. So Once and Rayfarki, we talked about them being the 1v9 players, the guys which really need to get ahead. And this is how they got ahead in this play. Proud is roamed up. That's why Yuhi was attacked on the bottom side. And Pantheon loves to dive some towers. He takes tower aggro, but with the last turret shot coming through, not able to survive. Saros has teleported up to the top side with his summoner, not his ultimate. Once uses his passive to finish off the Trundle, uses his ult to get back out. And then Saros is punished for sticking around a little too long and has the bonus flash at the end of that play.
Nice to see Burning Core making some proactive plays across the map, not letting DFM just make every call.
Yeah, take something into their own hands. I like this.
It was an attempt at a response from DFM, and with the tower there, you can understand why they tried it when they had the Trundle around. It didn't work out because Burning Core played the aggro game so damn well, and didn't have to burn his ultimate early either. He got to stick around and just be a nuisance under that tower.
Didn't take the initial aggro, didn't take much damage for himself from the masked members of DFM as well. And we looked at those plates coming in, as we see many members going towards this mid lane. Could be a fight as Steel is posturing.
Utapon stepping forwards. He's got to be a bit careful, but remember he's got a Tom Kench behind him, so not a lot to be found. We're going to see passive trade onto Gang, which is nice, but the poke back out of Utapon is pretty nasty. Steel kind of caught on the side. It's
he has no flash.
He has got no flash. He's got the subjugate down. Now Saros is coming in, but Burning Core have already got the pick. Can DFM find something more at the end of it? That is a hero's entrance, but it's only going in nowhere in place. That's a stop on the stun on the teleport. That's that play happening. But wait, Gang getting caught out in the side, and Burning Core fine too. Great play. Now Rayfarki needs to try and escape. He's got flash. He's not going to get it, but he does get the hammer blow back, and that's going to stop the Crocodile coming in. Saros still trying to run away. He's being chased by UJ, by Once, and by a Pantheon that dives in, and the globals of Burning Core countered the globals of DFM.
Kill score's even, gold is even as well. Ebi uses his flash to stop Rayfarki, making that even worse, but he doesn't manage to get anything else out of Rayfarki. The fireworks go off right around the 15-minute mark, and everything is now to play for. Let's go into this replay and see how this starts off. Still has no flash. He'd burned that earlier into the game, I believe, in that top lane play. Then the Varus ult after the taunt comes through to really punish him. Saros teleports right into the middle of things. He's split from his team. He can't peel back, and things would have gone from bad to worse if Rayfarki were to stick around. Does get cancelled by Abby, but then Seros sticks around trying to peel for his support. Gang goes down, doesn't have to flash, well, doesn't have the ability to flash after that CC lock, and we saw what happened on live screen there. Seros goes down for that third kill of the fight, as far as I'm aware.
Wow, once playing such a clean bit of Echo, it's a great taunt as well, and Burning Core not going down without a fight.
Absolutely not, but they're going to have to see if they can secure themselves a third Dragon as DFM are starting to set up visions, set up their positioning for this objective.
And they burned a lot of ults to get those kills, and they got the kills, and that's great. They didn't get a tower out of it, though. They're going to summon the Rift Herald down here and try and get this mid lane that is already low, and maybe rotate over to the Dragon, but DFM are going to want to contest this. They want to give this Ocean Soul point over, you imagine. Steel getting engaged on by once. He's got 2 levels on him just because of the kill engagements he's got. Utapon taking really low. They are still chasing. They're on to Steel. There is no response from DFM right now, but they are split pushing away. They're playing that 1-3-1, but with the Rift Herald charge coming in, they're going to get a second turret in mid.
They are, and that's out of pretty much nowhere. The Varusol was committed. Seros is looking for a flank. He popped the Ghost from the spellbook, maybe trying to chase someone down, but the angle is not looking pretty for him right now. Ebby has the teleport in the top lane, takes down a turret for their time, and at least manages to even up things across the map.
Okay, so Seros has got Destiny available. Ebby's got Teleport available. It's a good play in mid for Burning Core. They abused the 1-3-1 by engaging on the 3, but now the Dragon fight is about to start, and there's actually quite low health bars for some of the members.
And there's
of
a Destiny.
DFM.
There's a Destiny available to try and make something of this. Yuhi is split from the rest of the team, and he's been seen on a ward. I want to see what happens with this Varus. He could be in trouble.
Teleport in from Ray Farkey. Destiny gates pop. They know where everything is. The pillar slows Yuhi, but now he's in trouble. Ebby's in the backline. UJ has killed the Tahm Kench now, but Varus is dead as well. It's a 1-for-1 thus far. What is the fight going to be? The Dragon is still leashed, but DFM are kind of on the wrong side of the map. So are Burning Core, though. Seros in a bush, not on, well, he is on Vision. He was standing on top of it. Ebby and Steel running over the back. Yu-Gi-Oh still high HP. Ray Farkey finds Poke onto the Trundle. Can they do anything more? Seros is still around, still hunting. And DFM backing towards those honey fruit to get the Trundle up a little bit more. Here comes the re-engage. Seros kind of caught in a weird position, trying to find a way out. It's going to be another trade, but Yu-Gi-Oh goes golden, buying time. So did Seros, flashing over the wall. It's a shutdown now onto the Galio. Seros gets a stun, and once is still chasing, but he can just chase for hours and gets that 1-for-1. It's a 2-for-2 overall. Now Utapon needs to find his way out, but flashes over onto the Pantheon using that arcane shift as well. You're going to be another trade because once gets another. It is 3-for-3.
One still has ult. He can keep going.
Oh my days. This fight is back and forth, and both teams playing on the edge. Utapon is a big victor, but so is Once.
Don't say we don't bring you entertainment. Utapon still going at it. But after all things said and done, with the AD carry, with all of his mobility, all of his stats available, Utapon will force away Burning Core from their third Dragon and stop that soul point early into this game. Once could go for a steal.
He's got to be careful. He's on Vision. Would have to be very, very wary and at least gets a Dark Harvest stack. I don't know what he's at. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But the Dragon is secured. And DFM, it's even fight, but they come out with the Dragon, and that they will be pleased with.
And can you believe we live in a world where DFM might have a 0-2 week after such a dominant spring split?
No, absolutely not. And to be fair, this is credit to Burning Core playing super well. Like, I don't want to take this away from them because they are taking it to DFM. Look at Once and Ray Farkey.
And you might say it's an upset. While Burning Core would love to make this seem like it was all in the plan for this game, it's been a monstrous performance from Once so far. It's been a good performance from the solo laners too. However, the Yuhi, as we can see there, falling behind in XP, falling behind in items too. Even with that Umbral Glaive, that cheap item for the Varus, you're fighting off against a 3-item. A 3-item Israel with that Death Stance and Iceborne Gauntlet. Utapon is so ready to carry right now.
And that is the problem. It is that we've seen this from Burning Core against so many teams. So many teams. They did it against CGA. Yeah. They're like, Once got super far ahead, and then Aria happened. This time it's Utapon. He is so fed, and the team fights that Once is kind of picking up people here and there in at the minute. It's going to get harder. It's going to be this Ezreal who could just put up more consistent damage, who isn't relying on his ult at the moment to do damage. He's got 3 damn items with the Death Dance Iceborne Gauntlet.
Yeah. At least there is the ability to split push with the Jace. You can see him taking down that turret in the side lane, but then you have to be aware of these globals. They've not really come into play as much as they did in that V3 game, but they are still ever present. Ray Farkey will have to play a lot of respect to those tools.
They definitely have to. You're still got to be aware. And we asked whether Yuhi could step up on the Varus because he was going to need to. And currently he's 1-3-1. Like that is not the space. The Galio's doing well, the Echo's doing well, and that's fantastic
It
news.
doesn't,
But
yeah, it doesn't help that it's juxtaposed with this great performance from Utapon so far.
exactly, and like
You know, they were focused early, and Varus, when he's behind, struggles a bit in lane. But this has been, you know, difficult for Yuhi.
and it's great news that both teams feel to be playing pretty well thus far. It's going to be a good parallel convergence, but he doesn't want to go in now. That pillar there forces the ult out. It's been a while since that's happened. Now they're chasing in, and once it's getting slowed, he's going to get teleported on. There's a gold card that stuns him, and he cannot escape. It'll be a shutdown, surely, over to the wild cards of Seros. And that was going to be the issue eventually. He can't do it alone. He needs someone else. Wait, Utapon isn't done yet. Takes 2/3 of the health bar.
Wait, it's got the ult. It's got the ult.
It's got the kill. Shot barrage claims another, and 2 for Owen Barrett up, and DFM swing it again. That is the problem with this squad.
And much like in the last game, everything comes down and culminates in a single moment. Once he's caught out, there's no disengagement with the rest of his team. The Varus ultimate was not there to protect once there. But there's there's an ult coming in from Proud.
Okay, it's Pantheon into Galio. There's that combo. Ebby's in the backline though, and he's got a Dominus running. That is one megalithic Crocodile. Yu-Gi-Oh! At least kills the Tahm Kench, but that's none of the damage. Proud is dead now as well. He's got golden as Yu-Gi-Oh! But he's only going to be there to feed kills over to this Utapon. Ezreal, who goes for his 6th kill, I believe, as Ebby continues to chase Ray Farkey. He has no way to get out of this. He's going to try and turn it around, but it's only there to buy a little time.
Rush?
Phase Rush is pretty good. Maybe I spoke too soon, actually.
Ebby gives up the chase.
Ray Farkey has got style.
And Burning Core, what did it cost you to stop Baron? It's cost you 2 members, but at least you're not facing down the Baron buff for the next few minutes. Let's have a look at this here. Once goes in, fantastic Trundle Pillar. The Iceborne Gauntlet slow start coming in, but I only have to wonder what would have happened if Yuhi would have fired out the Varus ult, maybe buying some time for once. It cost once 10 Magi stacks because he had upgraded it just before that play. Sets him back to 0, and to make things even worse, Utapon finds this lovely pick onto Yuhi. He lands the W at the end of it. That's key because when you hit someone with your next ability, it does that extra burst of damage, and the ultimate already does a fair amount. It finishes off Yuhi.
This is partly why we still struggle to count DFM out. It's just that they have got these players that can just do what Utapon is doing there. And again, let's stress it's not over. Burning Core have got ways in. Galio and Echo, pretty damn strong. Ray Farkey's playing a good side lane game. But the items are in for an Ezreal. The items are coming in for this TF to continually make picks. And all as much as once can dive in, the moment his ult is being forced out by pillars and Iceborne Gauntlet slows, Gold Card comes out and he's out of options.
Destiny's been channeled, so is Abyssal Voyage. Ray Farkey, you're in a bit of trouble.
You go to the global, you go to the split push, and here comes Gang and Seros. Ray Farkey's going to try and find his way out. He's got a flash, he's got a phase rush. Maybe he can find out. Galliot's coming in, but this Gang is still pretty thick-skinned, so to speak. Now Yu-Gi-Oh! Taking damage. Once is in the backline. Ray Farkey's still low, but surviving. Now Once gets slowed down, gets stunned, and can't find his way out. The later this game gets, the higher the CC count gets, and this Echo just can't do it by himself right now.
All the damage is piled straight into Gang. He's a Tahm Kench. She doesn't give a damn. Ezreal gets the free fire, the teleports, the globals come in. DFM fight their way to another team fight.
And it's back to 3,000 gold. It was a good early mid-game response from Burning Core. It was good steal securing that dragon despite Yuhi's piercing arrow being surprisingly well timed there. But the team fights are starting to go against them. It is this Ezreal who has no answer. It is an Echo that is struggling to get into team fights now.
And how many times do you see a Varus out damage to that extent? Again, it's an Ezreal.
Good lord.
But this is a poke Varus. You're expecting better things of it. And as much as Jace is bringing up his end of the bargain on that poke champion, Yuhi has struggled to find an impact. We'll keep saying it because Utapon is having such a good game. You can only be left but wondering who's going to be typing bot diff at the end of the game.
You may well be. And this is what happens. They had the great dives early, some good choice plays from DFMs to sort of play around that dive. Some good responses from Burning Core as well. They found stuff on the other side of the map. The problem is they are now struggling to find trades when those easy objectives are gone.
Well, it's not even a trade anymore.
No.
Now. I mean, you once again is trying to pick up some Magi stacks, and even having a blank Death Note does give you some value because if you pick up a couple of assists, you pick up like 1 kill for yourself, and of course Decker has the ability to do that. Given how far Once was ahead in this game, you can start getting up to those higher amounts of. It's just not happening right now. The fights are definitely going the way of DFM.
Well, if you can get the Starfall into the Shield Vault, into the Hero's Entrance, into the Echo turning on. That's a lot of chain CC. We know how Burning Core want to play.
They tried, Abby backed off.
Yeah. Oh. And here comes the Abyssal Voyage. They're going to try and turn it around now. Some of those ults are burned. That's Gang and Utapon. And once it's like, oh, not again. He's getting slowed down for ages. Echo can't run fast enough. The taunt is there. That's going to slow something. But the interrupt to stop the Justice Punch. Now the teleport's getting turned around. Evie is in front. He's doing as much damage as he can. The Hero's Entrance knocks up only the Tom Kent, who will get traded on to. Ray Farkey is there. But Evie in the backline is a monster. And Seros has turned up now as well. This is going so damn well for DFM. They find 4 for 2. The Baron is up. It's a triple onto Utapon and Burning Core. The items have come in and they are struggling to find any ins in this game.
Utapon can do no wrong when he's playing like this. He's level 14. He's got all the items in the world. He's going to shred through this Baron as well. Burning Core left in the dust. Once maybe looking for a steal, though.
And how many AD carries do we have in this league that can carry once? Will try and go forward, but oh my days, he's lucky his ult came up there at the end. It was down for so long. But now Seros just says, yeah, go on, try and get me. I'll just walk you down and auto you. See whether maybe he can escape now. He's going to find his way into vision, and the ocean bushes are maybe allowing a little bit of outplay. We saw it from Ray Farkey earlier, and he gets to walk away.
Oh, my word. Still actually got very low and had to smite early there. If once had found any direction, any angle onto that Baron, could have ended up being that kill. He's going for the ult.
He gets him! That's 2 in a row! Oh, my days. He's a sniper. 10-0-5 for Utapon. And once... thought he brushed the dirt off his shoulders. He was swaggering out thinking, Baden outsmarted.
Might have been off the shoulder. Might have been off the shoulder, but now he's put his face into that said by Utapon, really just hammering it home. It all starts with the globals. Once again, a failed attempt from Burning Core to use their globals to punish Ebby turns into a punish onto themselves after they use so many abilities trying to shut down that Crocodile. One salt's back in, but after that, he has no way to reset the fight. He's out of it.
He definitely is. Look at Seros in the backline as well. They're caught between two places. Ray Farkey does work, and Utapon is so damn good. Look at that true shot barrage.
Once again, yeah, he's just putting out so much damage. He ends the fight on full HP, having regened off of the broken bodies of Burning Core. He's really making a statement in this game.
We do occasionally sort of talk about how Burning Core can turn into Burning Corpse, and a good contest in the early mid is starting to fall away. They're running out of options. If they've got any left, it's down to the Baron now, and they're facing down an Ezreal that is, well, we've seen why he's high priority, and we're going to watch the mother of all snipes.
Oh no, he stops for the recall, has no vision over the wall. It's a really good protection from Utapon, and then it just adds salt in the wound. Look, Utapon is 3 levels up onto Yuhi now. He's, how many items? Item and a half as well. And these are cheaper items from Yuhi as well. As much as the Iceborne Gauntlet is relatively cheap in itself, just putting that up against, you know, like, the Swiftness Boots and the Umbral Glaive, it's just not really comparable between the 2 AD carries.
And now with the Baron push available in 1-3-1 style for DFM, they're picking up a lot of gold. It's already over 3,000 gold. They are up 8,000 as it stands. And they're going to continue to shove in here. TF is in the top side. Renekton is in the bottom. He does have teleport across the board. Actually, here comes the engage. They're going to try and find something. They don't get onto Utapon. Now, Proud is in the back line trying to find something. Gang is tanky. He's got Stoneblade. He has tried to flash. He's now stuck. He may well fall. Does go down. That's a nice response. But here comes the return TP. Yui has no health bar, and he's found his way in front of a Renekton. He's flashed over the wall, but they're trying to find a way to escape as the flash card from Seros forces a gold statue out of the Galio. They pick up 2, and Ray Farkey actually fell as well, so it's 3. It's Once and Proud alone against 4 members of Detonation Focus Me. They're going to shove in with Baron minions and look to siege onto this Nexus.
Where were you when DFM went 0-2 in a week? Well, we've got no idea. It's not going to happen right now.
It was a good contest. It was still in the early game, trading back and forth. And then Ezreal turned into a monster beyond all proportions. And Detonation Focus Me, the play is much improved this week, and it'll be a 1-1 scoreline overall.
1-1, all things said and done. And we're going to take another 1-minute break to go have a think about how DFM brought this into a victory. Stick around.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the LJL Officially Unofficial coverage of the LJL 2020 Summer Split, brought to you by the LJL Officially Unofficial group. That is us, the crew, Alex, otherwise known as Goodbye Master on the internet, and of course, the illustrious good brother duo of Initialize and Nightmare. Gentlemen, we have just witnessed our final game, but it was only game number 4, so for coverage purposes, game 4. Gentlemen, Detonation Focus Me versus Burning Core, I think, for me, was far more competitive than I was expecting.
I didn't expect Once to get Echo. I didn't expect him to
True.
ball that hard when he had it, and I think DFM were made to work for it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I like that. But, in all fairness, Initialize, the men of Detonation Focus Me had to take an early lead, didn't they? They had to lead by advantage.
They did, and the thing is, Once was great, so was Steel. And
Yes.
the early games from both junglers were fantastic. We
Really
saw the
was.
level 2 gank bot that put the Varus power pick behind, and then that's a great start. Once responds and tries his best.
He really did, and we saw a lot of juggling. Burning Core did fall slightly behind in that early game to Detonation Focus Me. That bot lane was pressured heavily by DFM, and probably correctly, as it really shut down Yuhi across this game. However, after about 10 minutes or so of DFM getting a bit of an early lead, but Burning Core getting 2 dragons, it didn't always stay that way. It was 3 kills to 6 kills in favor of Detonation Focus Me, and then Nightmare. What happened, sir? What happened?
Burning Core skirmished. They just kept skirmishing, and when you have Once popping off on Echo, who even earlier into the game was, trading with Steel, going 1-for-1 there, and going top lane, and diving there, things start to get messy, and through Once, and also through Rayfarky to some degree as well, Burning Core managed to even some stuff up.
They were able to even it up, and even slightly get ahead of Detonation Focus Me. Let's talk about that part of the game, because that part of the game extended far longer than I would ever go. Go on, Initialize. You've got a thought.
So part of what it is like they get ahead, they get some good gold onto some good people. Namely, Rayfarky gets some time alone in side lane. Good news. They use the Herald to get some early tower. They get the first turret. That's good news.
Oh, yeah.
The good news kind of ends there, though, because Yuhi was in the dirt and Utapon was not. And if there is something that is that an Ezreal who's kind of got to the 2 items suddenly has the opportunities to fight, and it was where the gold was that mattered in the end. And Utapon definitely used that gold he has pretty damn well in that game.
He really did. What's an interesting stat is when it came on screen, every member of Burning Core was at least 1k ahead or in the support role 100. But that's still nice to be a bit above your opponent as a support when you only have 4k gold and you're like, I gotta scrape everything together, lads. Everyone on Burning Core, and they had a gold lead, but Utapon, as you said, Initialize, was 3k ahead, and Nightmare, what does that really mean? Put that into perspective for our viewers out there, because that's kind of crazy when everybody else is ahead, but one guy, shouldn't they still win the game, right?
So I think, a major item is about 3,200 gold, 3,600 gold. When you're an Ezreal, an Iceborne Gauntlet is 2,650. And what that means is that when you get to your first 2 items as an Ezreal, and then also have, one of them being cheap, and then have a 3,000 gold lead, you are like an item and a half ahead of someone like Varus. And of course, he went for the Umbral, a similarly cheap item. But we know that Ezreal is on this kind of time. He's a time bomb where he wants to get to his 2 items, and then he wants to use that power point for the entirety of the game. He gets to it ridiculously early, gets to his 3rd item to make it even worse, and then just puts the hammer down on Burning Core.
Yeah, 20-minute 3rd item death dance. That's
Yeah, you're expecting your transformation 2 items at 20 minutes. He reaches that about 5-7 minutes early. That is ridiculous for an Ezreal. We know he's OP. We know he can carry from that kind of lead, and Utapon absolutely did.
So we saw a fair few skirmishes happen. They went initially in the favor of Burning Core, but Utapon started popping off in a lot of these team fights. Initially, could you take me through, I think, the turning point team fight when we saw Yuhi getting caught out and it kind of all fell apart with 10 Magi stacks?
Yeah. So Once over in the side was hopping forward, looking for a parallel convergence.
Oh, yeah.
Pillar comes out from steel, slows him down. He has to immediately ult because he knows he's in danger. Then Utapon steps forward and he's got the Iceborne Gauntlet at this point. And Iceborne Gauntlet versus Echo is super powerful because he wants to be able to dash away and use his passive to run.
Yep.
He can't do that if he's being slow. He doesn't get to use that part of the kit and dance around the edges of the fight.
Sure.
They chase him down. They flash out of him after him with gold card. And with the Medjai's gone and the carry, that was most of the gold in a lot of ways.
It was, yeah.
Burning Core. Or a lot of the damage, at least. Suddenly they were in trouble. Then Yuhi gets dived under towers because Utapon goes man mode over the Raptor Pit wall. Chunks him out to 2/3 with like an auto attack in the queue because he's a 2-item Ezreal who just came online, got the Muramana transformation, and hits the blind true shot barrage for the style point kill at the end of it as well.
Yeah, 700 gold shut down onto once at that
It's
point.
1,000 gold altogether. It's
like
crazy.
absurd amount of money, and that man already had 3k above Yuhi. Like what? At that point, he already had it. Oh, he probably extended into a 5k lead. That's once territory of leads that we normally that's a bit of a burn onto them.
Once had a 2-level lead on to steal at points during that game. He was really far ahead on the Echo. There were a couple of things, particularly in that play, which I really want to harp on.
Go for it.
One thing was that Yuhi was stood there around the mid lane turret, knew that once was having himself targeted. He had his ultimate. He could have put that onto the Trundle, onto the Ezreal, on someone else that was following up, and potentially aid with the disengage. That doesn't come out. Also, the other thing there is as well is that DFM use their globals really well. Of course, the Destiny Gate comes in, the gold card comes in from the TF, and it punishes once so damn well. I think we want to have a chat about Burning Core's globals at some point as well, but this one was so good from DFM, I can't think of any global play which Burning Core made to that extent as well. There was such a big turning point in this game.
I have to agree with you. And then that catapulted them into that top lane dive that happened where they had already taken that turret and then they were able to get one pick and then promptly Utapon was just not touched throughout that whole team fight and they were able to really put the knife to them and promptly, even with Burning Core initially stopping the Baron was eventually taken by Detonation Focus Me and... well, that's kind of all she wrote. Actually, they didn't even need to take the Baron. They just won the game, actually, after that team fight. I'm misremembering my DFM games.
There was a Baron take. That was the one where once was ran down with the other blind Ezreal from Utapon.
And by that point, it was well and
game's over.
Truly over. It was fun to see once try and get out. And he outsmarted Syros. But he didn't expect Utapon, who was playing the sniper man himself, as Initialize coined the phrase sniper. Gentlemen, that does round us out our coverage for week 3 of the LJL action. We're not going to do a really long post-game breakdown as we'll be having some interesting content around that very soon. Check out our YouTube page. It will also be a video on Twitch, so in case you're finding us there, hello! But for that, I do still want to give you both the opportunity to have a brief few words about this week, and I will pass it to Initialize first.
V3 have put themselves forward as the best team in the LJL right now. They're looking really, really good. That said, it's not easy to have that crown on your head, and there's a little bit of the King Lear vibe going in, a bit of paranoia, because Sengoku, DFM, CGA all look pretty damn good as well, and they were made to sweat versus DFM no less as well.
Would have to agree to you. They've got still a lot to prove moving forward, and there's still... There's still 4 more weeks to go. So a lot of pressures, lots of games still to go. Anything can happen in the LJL. Nymera, your closing thoughts.
Turns out there's trouble in paradise unless you're V3. We've got a whole slew of top tier teams here in the LJL now. The top half of the table is coming together in a very tight pack. The difference between the top of the tier and V3, though, is that V3 has faced all of them now. Faced all of them and taken all of them down. We do say we have more questions to ask of them, but they have answered books of them so far. Taking down DFM in the manner they did today as well gives me a lot of hope for them in many different ways. So for them, all's looking good. For DFM, for Sengoku, even for CGA, things are still on the table, though, and we'll have to see what they do in week 4.
You heard it here. Lots to ask. Lots of questions are being asked of them, but they're presenting the answers in flawless fashion. It's going to be exciting to also see the bottom end of the table. Even though Axis are currently sitting 0-6, there is a 100% chance with a good, decent run, which they did for us in that spring split, that they can pull it back. The Jesters as well could totally be in playoff contentions. All still to play for in the LJL. Don't count anybody out, but for myself, Initialize and Nymera, that's going to end us here for now, but we'll see you all very, very soon.